Hey, this is Ryan Angelo with unseenalliance.com, and I'm here with Tom the Blue Wolf. And I'm so excited to share this with you because we're going to be talking about how the trickster energy, the narcissist, the heyoka, the watik, all the words, all that nonsense, how you can transcend it and get free of it so that you can really experience and embody your spiritual awakening. And in doing that, you live your best and highest life. And so Tom is well, he's a total badass, forgive my language, but he's a sweat lodge master and he's helped people all over the world. And it's amazing how much this man has accomplished, actually. But I'd like you just to listen with your heart, if you would, for a second. I know that you're busy, you got lots of stuff going on, but sometimes when you take a second to let yourself just kind of tune in, you find that there's some deeper truth that's going to help you feel a little bit more free. And so this is some deep truth you're about to hear. So Tom, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, so
Appreciate you asking. How you doing?
doing good. I'm excited for this talk. And
Good.
so I want to jump into this. We it's ironic because everybody, we recorded this just what was it, yesterday, and of course the audio and the recording disappeared. So because you're talking about a trickster and the trickster is going to rebel. So sometimes, you call it a narcissist or they get really pissed off about it and they want to shut you down. But guess what? The truth is bigger and is stronger, and the process of a spiritual awakening is about our ability to overcome it no matter what nonsense it tries to throw at us. So, Tom, yesterday we talked about this idea of transcending entities, transcending narcissism, transcend all this different stuff. We have so many words for it. Basically, like the parasite consciousness or the trickster consciousness, and all our different traditions. We've all acknowledged it, and all are dealing with it, and it's annoying. It's all about fear and all that nonsensical nonsense. You said something super powerful yesterday about how its whole function is to get you to believe in its own delusion or believe in your own delusions.
Mm.
And so anyhow, I just want to let you kind of take the ball and run with it.
Well, it's really good to talk to you, Ryan. I appreciate this discourse because the subjects you've chosen to talk about are some of the most important things in the global narrative at the moment. It's alarming for some people when they realize they owe their entire existence to 6 inches of topsoil and the fact that it rains. And so all of these illusions and ideologies and delusions that create the coyote that we were talking about earlier and the heyoka of the mind are the vibrations and frequencies and distortions in the field. They're everywhere. So the idea to be mindful and to stay focused is critical at this time more than ever in my life. Is it important and critical to be focused on what it means to not just sustain ourselves, but to thrive into the future. The realization that our children are the ones we send into a future that we're never going to see. Our legacy is so critical that what we leave behind us, the choices we make need to be choices that are based on love and forgiveness and mercy and respect and nurturing and all these wonderful qualities, or else we're doomed. And that's been the prophecy, and we're living it out right now. It's not coming. It's here. We're in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very true. One of the things I've seen with with a lot of people that I work with, and I'm sure the individual who's listening right now, and thank you again for listening in, for being present, is that there are those of us who are doing everything we can to embody this, what we call the spiritual awakening, right? The stepping into our true self. It has all the words we use for being awake, actually awake, not woke, but awake, like really, truly awake from the dream, awake from the in the nightmare. And so I wanted to ask you if you could look at three components I found consistent whenever I'm helping my clients get free from entities or even narcissistic abuse. Is it has three primary attacks. One is the dark father, the shadow masculine. It attacks, it bullies, it punishes. Then there's the shadow feminine, which undermines and traps and wants you to feel guilty. Then there's the shadow child, which is very all about putting things off and waiting till tomorrow and getting you to delay. I wanted to ask if you could look at those different faces of the coyote And how might you face and transcend that? It's kind of it's a potent trickster.
That's a question to me. And what I'll say is that how we interact with that scenario is through rituals and ceremonies and rites of passage. So it's like that old poem that says, ring those bells while they still ring, forget your perfect offering, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And so when we notice as a group, as a community, as a people, because we feel that I am, because we are, so when we're in this community frame of reference and someone feels distorted and someone feels like there's a crack in the cord and someone feels that the darkness is taking over and these delusions are apparent and these illusions and these transgressions of whatever the nature has to offer, and all of a sudden, like you were mentioning earlier, we wake up and we remember our place on the third rock from the dwarf star. We remember that we're flying through space. We remember that we've only got so much time here. We remember how important it is for that topsoil and that water and our babies. And once we start remembering, our lives falls together, and all these issues and problems that seem to be happening, the coyote, the Hayoka, abandon us because they don't live in that place. It's like if you want to hide your stuff in the safest place, put it in a sweet dream. People who live in a nightmare will never find it. And if they do, I mean, welcome to my sweet dream.
And so when you describe a sweet dream, because I speak to a lot of clients who have very clever minds, right? Law psychologists, law students of a lot of different perspectives. And deeper wisdom always has a very strong reverberance. And there's a part of the mind that wants to figure out how to do it, how to act it, how do you live the sweet dream? What is a sweet dream? How do I know I'm in my sweet dream instead of in a nightmare? And I wanted to ask if you would look at that or talk about that a bit more.
Yeah, I think that, this is what I've noticed, I've seen this, that when people fall in love, I mean, really fall in love. It's kind of like the old Zulu saying that I've heard that says, if you feel pain, you're alive. But if you feel other people's pain, you're human. And so there's this ceremonial way, this celebration of life that takes place when people fall in love. I could say, imagine you're in the room with a woman that you love more than anyone else in the world, and she's about to give birth. How do you behave? I would say most people would tend to want to participate and contribute and walk a little softer and talk a little softer and try their best to accommodate this incredible situation, this creation of life that's about to occur. Well, welcome to planet Earth, because that woman is Mother Earth, and she's always giving birth. We are literally walking through creation. She's giving birth as we speak. So that's why indigenous people walk a little softer and talk a little softer. That's why they have so much respect and give nature so much dignity, because she's the woman we love the most, and we want to protect her water. We want, all these wonderful things. And it's that when you focus on that, the motto, the mantra is the universe will rearrange itself to accommodate our perception of reality.
Mm.
So if our perception is this is a celebration, we're in ceremony, this is a ritual, by George, it's a rite of passage. You know what I mean? There's a full moon. And then we start dancing and we start loving on each other and think, this is what life is supposed to be like on this rock. We're all supposed to care for each other. We're supposed to be stewards. We're supposed to be shepherds. And when we remember that, and the beautiful thing is, hear me now or hear me later, This is the great awakening. We are entering, and we're probably three-quarters of the, or at least a quarter of the way through what's been called the great remembering. So you'll notice more and more people are waking up, and more people are becoming aware, and more people are understanding what it means to love and forgive and have mercy and nurturing and respect and dignity. I see it all over the planet, in the ceremonies I do in Europe and Africa and South America. I see this waking up. It's such a beautiful, I feel so blessed to be able to witness these wakings, these enlightened moments, these epiphanies, and then be able to testify. I mean, what a heck of a ride. Yeah, so that's what I think. The coyote lives in your head. It's always telling you stories. It tells them just the way you want to hear them. It uses the words you like, and you start believing them, but you weren't supposed to believe them. You were just supposed to be entertained and amused. You're supposed to listen to the ego that lives in your heart that always tells the truth. But it may not be the story you want to hear, and they may use words you don't understand. But that's the one you need to believe. You need to follow what we call the path of the heart. That'll lead you all straight to heaven. The mind will make you crazy.
Indeed, it does. Yeah, I was thinking as you were speaking about that, how if we look at those three components, because a lot of the souls I've worked with, they've had various trauma from parents, and it's life. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of trauma
Yeah.
being worked through these days.
Mm.
But the coyote that is hostile,
Mm.
barks and yells and screams. The coyote is just a shadow of the
It's a
feminine.
trickster. It's a
No,
trickster.
but it's always pulling you one direction away from
Yeah.
the heart center, right?
Yeah.
Or getting you to delay, taking a second to settle in. It's all about getting you to hunt down some sort of dopamine hit, or accept misery. It's just this. It's such
Well,
a
one of the
frustrating.
reasons that they notice that aspect of the coyote, because if you watch the coyote when it's after its prey, it's very similar to a fox.
Hmm.
It'll make its prey feel calm, like it's going to play with it. And then when the prey starts playing with it and the coyote starts playing with it, and they're just playing together, batting each other around a little bit, just tossing a little bit, and then all of a sudden coyote just eats it.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? And so
Uh,
it's like, wow, what? And so everybody, when they watched all this, they said, what a trickster. You know, what an amazing trickster.
so don't play with it. Is kind of the lesson here.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be, you watch it, you be entertained by it, you be amused by it, but you never follow it. You never believe in it. You never use it as a way of life. It's not supposed to be the truth. It's just like a comic book. You're supposed to just look at it, be entertained, be amused, let your retinas rock for a little bit, and then put it down.
Mm. So I have a question, Tom. So let's say that the coyote is really loud on somebody else. Say it's a boss, or a coworker, or a parent, or a spouse, and they're listening to the coyote, and you aren't. Right? You're doing your best to stay in your heart center, and you're trying to live in your sweet dream, but the other person's nightmare, because of the coyote seductiveness in that person, is making it more challenging for you to be or maintain your sweet dream.
Yeah.
How do you maintain that resilience? How do you, in the face of people you can't control acting in ways you wish they wouldn't, how do you maintain that sweet dream?
Those are the times that are when it's critical that you remember that love is the healer and forgiveness is the medicine.
That is a
So
powerful statement.
you have to pull that out of your archive, out of your hard drive. When somebody's giving you a tough time, you just have to say, wow, I don't hear what they're saying. What I hear is all the problems that caused them to say what it is they're saying. I look back on their history and I can all of a sudden see their childhood. When people decide and make a choice to speak a certain way, that's why we call language the fabric of the culture. When people talk to you in a certain way, what you hear is the frequency, the energy. Where are those words coming from? Do they even know what they're saying? because they're basically just responding to an emotion and using the best choices. It's like sticking their, it's like, here's what I think most people do, and I mean this in the best way possible. We get into a conversation, everybody puts on a blindfold and sticks their hands into barrels where they're verbs and nouns and adjectives, and they pull them out, and nobody knows what they just pulled out of the bag until somebody reads it to them. And I think most people talk like that, and because they don't say what they mean and mean what they say. They're responding to, it's like a knee-jerk reaction, so critical thinking here is imperative.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I've always found that critical thinking never happens in the ego. It only works if you are connected with your heart center. There's a lot of smart people I work with who are these achievers and executives or psychologists and etc. And they are so brilliant, but their brilliance gets used against them by the very coyote. It uses their own healing medicine against them, getting them too caught up in all these different stories. And if they don't, because they think they're being in the critical faculty, but if you take time to settle into your heart center, kind of like you did as you listened to Tom and I during this time frame, they asked, do you feel a little more centered? Do you feel a little more in tune? Because one of the things to remember is that truth will always set you free. And so I think this is where we're going to kind of wrap up for this talk. And I'd like to hear in the comments, if you would, if you enjoy this, if you have any questions, if you'd like to hear more talks along these lines. There's so many things for us to talk about that we're only scratching the scratch of the surface. But I want to thank you, Tom. Thanks for being on the call, sir.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. I always enjoy our conversations.
Likewise, sir. And thank you for watching, my friend. Many blessings to you. And don't listen to the coyote. Listen to your heart.
Ade yano haini yo